as anything, yes, I know, Asmongold reacted to this video, but I'll let you know this. I had this video loaded on YouTube almost a week ago, like 5 days ago. Basically, when it came out, I saw it, I put it on YouTube, I didn't react to it yet. I didn't see the Asmongold react. I'm pretty sure I know what this is about. This might be about absolutely nothing. This is probably because of Diablo 3 and someone took their sweet ass time making this. But honestly, I have no idea what this video is about, why Blizzard is collapsing, and the coming Blizzard crisis and all that stuff. As far as I know, Blizzard is doing decently well, all things considered, to how shit of a company they are currently with everything that they do. The reason I'm liking this video without watching it is because it's a negative video about Blizzard. Just automatically you do that. Oh shit, you can do that? Super thanks. Wow, look at that. They added stuff for money. Obviously, at first I am going to read the comments because that's how we do it in here. So let's go. Blizzard, basically everything that's wrong with modern day companies. Yes, I agree, especially with Diablo 4 monetization, $30 skins, $15 skins, and all that shit. Get the fuck out of here, okay? It's a skin in an ARPG, it should be like $2 at most. Blizzard, let's stop making good games and just release controversies. Also, Blizzard, why isn't this working? The problem with the video game industry... Okay, so this is Diablo 3 for sure. The problem with the video game industry in general is that companies are completely out of touch with their fan base. No, companies are not out of touch with their fan base. Companies have a loyal fan base that they can take advantage of. Therefore, they are doing just that. They're looking for the short-term benefit, and honestly, when they see that the long-term benefit is decreasing, they're selling the company. That's why Blizzard sold to Activision. That's why Activision is selling to Microsoft, and eventually Microsoft will sell Blizzard to somebody else. They're just dumping their dirty trash. This is not just a Blizzard issue, it's an issue that is growing in the industry with each passing day. One really big problem is that game developers can't take criticism for their bad decisions and call fans entitled. I mean, have you seen the movie industry? Among other things, for not liking their bad and anti-consumer decision, it also doesn't help that some game developers allow activists to influence their decisions when making their games. Dude, this I agree with the most. Keep politics out of games. And I don't mean like you can throw political issues into your gameplay, into your game story, that's fine. Explore these political issues. Show your point of view in a political issue as long as it makes sense. I don't care about this. A lot of games use politics in their games, and that's fine. However, take this out of your real life bullshit inside of the company. No one needs to know about this. I do not need to know that Blizzard is supporting Pride. You're a gaming company, not a fucking gay festival. Make games. And again, do I care if they support it or not? No, but it clearly influences you. Okay? And that's why people also think they can make political statements in your game. By the way, I do not agree with Blitzchung doing what he did in the what it was, Hearthstone tournament or whatever. I don't agree that he would make a political statement. That is not the place, that is not the time. Okay? You're there to be a player. It's the same thing with like why I don't agree with Kaepernick taking the knee while he's playing football. Bro, you're there to entertain. You're not there to make political statements. Take politics out of video gaming. Straight up. Like, that is not the place to do it. We don't care. We want a good game, we want good gameplay. If it's a sport, we want to see good sport, we want to see good competition, we want to see our team winning. We don't want to see politics in our games. Entertainment is a distraction from politics. Do not mix the two. Let's go.
Facing impending disaster. Blizzard is facing impending disaster. Notified countless employees in recent months with a plummeting stock price.
Nothing new.
Key founders behind the company jumping ship, and Blizzard being listed as one of the most hated gaming companies of all time. This begs the question.
I think that's EA. I think it's just because EA is kind of like out of the spotlight that everyone's saying it about Blizzard, but yeah.
Wrong for Blizzard. Blizzard was adored and loved by its fans. Its origin stories were organic, with each of the founders.
It was nerds making games for nerds, man. That's what it was. But now now nerds are super cool. Being a nerd is really cool right now. And like and I'm not saying this is like a bad thing. It's like look at the round table of Blizzard. You have like in each round table you have like one Chad and like 1 or 2 geeks, maybe 3 geeks, right? But it's like one of them is always a Chad. There's always like this one good-looking, taking care of himself motherfucker in that table, except like the management table, right? That one, you know, everyone's a geek, right? And it's like, it's good that they take care of themselves. I'm sure they're great people, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you can see a shift in the people who work there, right? I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing, but it's like you see the shift, right? This is not what Blizzard used to be. Blizzard used to be geeks making games for geeks, right?
Contributing $10,000 to get the ball rolling from grandma's money. It then rocketed to fame and became a highly successful, normal gaming company with a loyal fan base, record sales, and rocketing innovation.
Is that Jessica Nigri?
Highly successful, normal gaming company with a loyal fan base.
No.
Record sales and rocketing innovation, Blizzard was adored by millions around the world. But in the last year or so, Blizzard has now become one of the most despised gaming companies in
just
history.
Because they're in the spotlight.
Originally called Silicon Synapse, Blizzard originally focused on porting other studios' games to different platforms. However, they would soon make a few of their own, releasing games like Rock and Roll Racing and Blackthorn. And by 1994, Blizzard was quickly...
I haven't heard of those two at all, but Diablo, that's... Well, I'd say even the Vikings game is something I enjoyed to an extent, but I wouldn't even recognize the Viking game as the Diablo, as a Blizzard game, until later on I realized it was Blizzard, right? But Diablo 1, yeah, that was the time. Diablo 1 is when you know you're playing a Blizzard game. Dude, it just felt so ominous. It was so scary to go down the floor. It's like you explored the whole floor, you see the whole level, and then you go down again into darkness, into nothingness, into emptiness. And especially when you go from floor 4 to 5, and the whole demographic change, and it's more like cave. It wasn't cave, it was just a different architecture, right? And between 8 to 9 was like caves and lava and shit like that. And then after that was like hell, and you're like, holy fuck, man, like this. Like, you know, you're like, oh, shit is about to hit, you know?
Growing, and was acquired by Davidson and Associates for a little under $7 million. This was the first parent company to purchase Blizzard, kicking off an acquisition cycle that's still ongoing today. Blizzard's subsequent releases weren't smash hits by any means, but they kept the company afloat for the next 3 years. However, this would all soon change once Blizzard released their first hit, Warcraft Orcs and Humans, a game that managed to sell around 300,000 copies before reaching the end of its lifespan. Yet these were rookie numbers for what was coming. However, before releasing the games we know them for today, Blizzard was still getting pushed around by various publishers around this time. Eventually, the company and
were they? Oh, bro, I remember Sierra. What happened to Sierra? I think there was like a boat game I used to play by Sierra or something like that. National Mail Order Club Company bought Davidson Associates for 1.6 billion. Bro, even in 96, 1.6 billion for a gaming company. Jesus Christ.
Ended up being a subsidiary of Vivendi, but they would go on to release Diablo in 1997. While initially only hitting modest sales numbers, the glowing reviews of the game eventually led to over 500,000 copies of Diablo being sold, 5 times what Blizzard expected. And this marked the start of Blizzard's golden years. First came Warcraft 2, a great sequel to their first game. Then came hits like StarCraft, Diablo 2, and later Warcraft 3. A release that was
damn, bro. Fucking golden days, man. I love this history lesson. Like, I think the Ekman did a similar video earlier, like last year, I think, of like the downfall of Blizzard, and it's like it goes through all this. Like, yeah, man, this is like nostalgia overload. Problem is, I can't even play these games right now because they're so dated, and just like it's so hard for me to go back to some games in the past when there's a newer game. So, for example, I won't be able to play Warcraft 3, the original, if I played Reforged. I won't be able to play Diablo 2 if I played Diablo 3. You know, it's like you won't be able to play I can't play Dark Souls 3 after playing Elden Ring. I couldn't play Dark Souls 1 after playing Dark Souls 3. I won't be able to play Demon Souls because I already played like Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3. Like, I just can't go back into like previous games. It's just like it feels so bad, especially because you know there's something better out there. So that's like, yeah.
Forever changed the gaming industry, giving rise to the MOBA genre and catalyzing the growth of new games like Dota and League of Legends. Around this time, Blizzard was a godsend for gamers around the world.
I severely underestimated just how good a time it was.
Yep.
I had so much fun going back to this title.
So then, how could it all go so wrong for
so
Blizzard?
good,
What
man.
caused
It
Blizzard
was
to
so
collapse so
good.
dramatically? Well, there's many reasons for it. The first of these was Blizzard.
I literally went to university when Dota came out in Warcraft 3. I was in my first year of university. I went to like maybe 4 classes in the whole year because I was spending all of my time and money in an internet cafe. I was such an idiot. But man, did I have fun. So it was so much fun.
Blizzard's growing apathy towards their fan base. The signs were slow at first, legal challenges over fan-made projects, and a general sense by customers that they just weren't listening. However, at the time, all their new games outshined all the controversy. Instead, this was a problem that would come back to bite Blizzard. But for now, Blizzard didn't need to care about this, as they were preparing to release their new game, World of Warcraft.
Hell
When
yeah,
World of Warcraft finally released
brother.
in 2004, it blew everyone's expectations out of the water. Both critics and fans loved the gameplay loop, atmosphere, and sheer scale of exploration that was available.
It's taken this long for the genre's breakthrough hit to finally emerge. But World of Warcraft is indeed that game. This is just an incredible accomplishment and an incredibly fun game above all else.
God damn,
World of Warcraft
man.
gained over
What a
12 million
time.
subscribers at its peak and became the most
What a
played PC
time.
game for 2 years
Oof.
running. And so unsurprisingly, World of Warcraft would end up making Blizzard billions. The
Yep,
game was such a
easily.
massive phenomenon that it allowed the company to spawn their own convention, BlizzCon. And while on the surface, BlizzCon seemed to be a great advertising event for their products,
It was.
BlizzCon was also where they would later broadcast some of their biggest blunders. Behind the scenes of all of this, Blizzard was making some worrying moves in China. Back then, no one in the public
Dude, I swear, like whenever you make a connection with China, it's like it's only a matter of time before you're downfall. Look at Disney, you know, look at what's his name, John Cena. It's like your downfall is coming, man.
cared about China. And so because of China's huge market,
damn,
Blizzard
man.
secured a deal with the CCP to release World of War.
Yep.
The condition being that it had to be published by a Chinese studio. And as they gained more and more fans in China, they had more and more incentive to keep the Chinese government happy. Through
Yep.
these actions, this would spell disaster for the company in the future, and would become yet another reason for Blizzard's decline. But China wasn't Blizzard's only partner. Blizzard would also merge with Activision in 2008. And while Blizzard
Yep.
did remain mostly independent,
That's when the downfall began. Wrath of the Lich King. That's when everything starts to go downhill.
the influence of Activision on the management of Blizzard was noticeable. Lots of people blame this for the
Even though they said they going with a hands-off attitude, bro. Everyone knows Activision was pushing Blizzard, and I'm not saying that Blizzard weren't making their own issues, but it's like with the game. But you could see the shift in mentality, the shift in like what the game was becoming slowly but surely.
greedy corporate decisions that Blizzard would later be known for. But for now, Blizzard would build on their previous successes,
Yep.
releasing sequels and expansions
Yep.
for their popular StarCraft and Warcraft franchises.
Yep.
These were met with great praise, and it seemed like the sun would never set for Blizzard until
I'd say Diablo 3 was their first major fuck up. Like insane fuck up.
it did. Come 2012, and Blizzard would make their first blunder. The last Diablo game had been released
Dude, I'm sorry, but I called it because I can't think of any other massive blunder before Diablo 3.
way back in 2000, which meant that fans of the series had waited 12 years for the new installment in the franchise. But when Diablo 3 was finally launched, Blizzard had
yeah.
failed to allocate enough resources
Yep.
to their servers.
Yep.
This wouldn't have been a problem if it only affected multiplayer, but Blizzard required the game to have an active internet connection in order to
Yep.
function. This caused a massive
Again, I don't know why they did that. They could have easily made Diablo 3 also a single player game where you don't have to log in to BNet to play it. There's absolutely no reason. It's like, oh, we don't want cheaters in the game, bro. Who cares? It's in single player. If they can't use that character anywhere outside of single player, who gives a shit? It's like people who were playing Wolcen when it came out and you had offline mode, online mode. If you cheated on offline mode, I mean, there was a problem. You could take it to online mode, but it's like, they should have separated the two. Online mode, offline mode were just separate, and that's it. And like you would have absolutely no issues. Plenty of people would have played Diablo 3 in single player, and honestly, even online, most people will play Diablo 3 in single player, so it didn't matter.
of outrage for Blizzard fans,
Yeah,
leading to
it was
countless
so dumb.
posts and videos being posted about the
Oh,
infamous
man,
Area
Boogie.
37.
Down, the servers are down, and every time I try to log in, all I get error 37, error 37. I keep trying to log in.
Bro, man. I used to love watching Boogie videos. So good. I know it's a character and stuff like that, and it's actually like it caused him. Dude, say Boogie 37, dude. Boogie Boogie error 37, Boogie 37, no Boogie 2988, whatever the number is. Oh my god, bro, he used to be so good. I get it. He want to step away from that character, but I honestly think he should have made a different YouTube where he's not that character. Maybe that's what I did. I don't even know. But yeah, man, like this character was so good by him. It was so fucking good.
I get error 37.
Different
Nonetheless,
era.
the single ring cloud on the horizon wasn't enough to phase Blizzard. It would take a lot more than a botch release to bring the giant down. After a set of successful expansions for World of Warcraft, the game was at its peak. But when their fourth expansion released, the player base actually began to drop, a trend that will continue throughout World of War's.
The third expansion released. The fourth is Mob. The third is Cataclysm. Because the first expansion is TBC, the second one is Wrath, the third one is Cataclysm. If you would say with the fourth World of Warcraft game, then I'd be like, okay, Cataclysm.
On Metacritic, critical reviews were positive.
Also, by the way, the numbers started to drop pretty much after ICC, like a few months after ICC. It wasn't like during Cata. It's like, yeah, the peak was in Wrath, but also like it started dropping hard during Wrath as well. Like as soon as people killed the Lich King, it was like expected to go down. Everyone knew it's gonna go down. I mean, bro, you played WoW because of Warcraft 3. You don't know anything about the story except what you know from Warcraft 3. You don't care about anything except Arthas and Illidan at that point. Those were like by far people's main characters in Warcraft 3. The most likable, the most like the favorite character, the villain. The heroic villain, or like the corrupted hero, you know, shit like that. Best characters, and you know, we know where that went. So.
A score of 82 out of 100. However, the fans were underwhelmed, feeling that the magic of World of War was starting to fade away. This was the first sign that bad things were coming for the Blizzard company. This decline would become most apparent around spring 2016, when Blizzard showed their first signs of becoming the company we know today.
God.
Blizzard would go on to lose a ton of their fan base after shutting down Nostorius, a community server that ran an old version of World of War.
This is absolutely not a reason. I would say vast majority of WoW players did not give a shit that, vast majority of retail players did not give a shit about them canceling Nostalrius. It's their IP. Like, this is the logic. I'm not justifying it, but it's their IP. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Anyone who played and plays a private server knows that if it gets too popular, it will get shut down. And I don't even think Nostalrius was even that popular. I think like it reached like 13,000 players, which is like amateur numbers in an MMO scope.
Warcraft. Many players were dissatisfied with the current trajectory of the game, so a group decided to start hosting servers for vanilla and previous World of Warcraft.
These servers have been around since like 2010. I played vanilla and TBC on a private server, right? The only time I stopped playing private servers was literally when ICC was coming out. Like right before ICC was coming out, I joined normal like retail during that time. So it's like I've been playing private servers way before that. Did I say 2010? I meant like 2006, 2007. You had, as soon as TBC came out, you had private servers for vanilla. Like it wasn't a new thing.
Expansions. And Blizzard really wasn't happy about this. They weren't happy that around 800,000 people were playing World of Warcraft on a service that they didn't...
Not on one server, by the way. 800,000 people across different multiple servers. Some are fun servers where you have a ton of XP, some and like level 250. Some were like extra slow for some reason. Some were like Blizz-like. Like it was all different.
Operate. So the company ended up filing a cease and desist notice to the Nostorius dev team, leading to their servers being permanently shut down on April 10th. By doing this caused massive outrage in their community, and unsurprisingly failed to increase any of World of War.
The only reason there would even be outrage from from actual people who playing retail is because probably they were not happy about the game. At any point when there's controversy with Blizzard, they're not happy with the game. That's why they have a problem with what Blizzard is doing. It's like, why are you wasting... It's more like, it's not even that they're shutting down Nostalgia, it's more like, why are you wasting resources on this bullshit when the game is not fixed? Fix the fucking game, then deal with that bullshit. Don't deal with that bullshit instead of fixing the game. Fix the game. Make the game good. Then do whatever. Honestly, they could literally be kidnapping and murdering people, and almost no one in the community would bat an eye if the game was good enough. That's how bad WoW players are. Like that's like, they don't see anything past WoW. It's like, oh, Blizzard is murdering people. Well, that's fine. They make a good game. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. Don't take this shit seriously. But yeah, Blizzard will get away with a lot of shit if the game was good. That's it.
Warcraft subscriptions. Starting around 2016, a pattern of bad decisions would emerge in Blizzard. Sometimes they were greedy, and occasionally they seemed almost oblivious. Initially being a slow process, the company would start putting much more emphasis on making money over listening to their fans. Although there was still some good intentions at the company, the change was definitely noticeable. Blizzard shutting down Nostalrius would be
this guy definitely played Nostalrius, or like actually cares about Classic WoW. Either way, it doesn't matter. I don't give a shit about Nostalrius. I don't think it was even a good server. Even though it was Blizz-like, it only had 13,000 people. That's one server-ish, and it's like, you know, it's just not evolving. So that's why, like, you can max out your character with no fear of like losing out or missing out. Like that's enough about that server. Fuck, what do I want to say? Something back here. Oh yeah, they're focusing on making money, bro. I do not give a shit if Blizzard focuses on making money, but not in the way that they're doing it. I hate that the way that they're doing it is making you log in every day, making you log in every week, making you make sure that something takes 6 weeks exactly, so that you will definitely have to get 2 months subscription. And towards the end of that second month, they're gonna add something that's like, boom, you have to subscribe again, right? I hate that they're doing it. That's like, it's, you know, like literally like, at some point, a person must realize that's like, you're literally getting like jebaited every time and you're falling for it. Like, just stop.
relatively small controversy compared to what was coming next. With the World of Warcraft cash cow drying up, Blizzard decided to take a risk and branch out by developing a new IP. This would be done by taking creative liberty from popular hero shooters such as Team Fortress 2, and then combining this with RTS elements that the company was already familiar with. At the time, this was an innovative idea, and Blizzard's concept would eventually become known as Overwatch. Announced in late 2014, the game's cinematic trailer quickly exploded online and got nearly everyone excited for what Blizzard had in store. But it would be another year and a half until Overwatch finally released on May 3rd, 2016. Once released, the game skyrocketed in financial sales and would quickly begin dominating the cultural sector. On Twitch, Overwatch was a platform where many big streamers began to launch their career, with names like XQC gaining a massive following through playing the game.
Is that actually what XQC got known for Overwatch? Really? Interesting.
Overwatch's popularity allowed the game to easily coast for the first couple of years of its lifespan, but cracks were starting to reveal themselves. Blizzard began rehashing their old holiday events instead of creating new ones that they used to. Controversial features,
but they're doing it in WoW too. It's like the same seasonal events. You know, it's lazy Blizzard design. There's nothing new about this.
Like role queue were also being added, which limited what hero players could use while further increasing matchmaking times. Additionally, Blizzard was diverting many of the resources towards Overwatch's floundering pro scene instead of their core game. All these actions continuously caused strife in the game's community until reaching a head in spring of 2018. But before we continue, a quick message from video sponsor Skillshare. Before starting my channel, I had no idea.
I hate Skillshare. Just telling you right now. I think it's a waste of your money. Just telling you right now. All the stuff you can view on Skillshare, you can find online for free. Skillshare is just a nice directory that can like show you things that you didn't even know you want to learn. You can learn them, and the classes are not in depth as you think they are. Overall, for the money, it's like $12 a month. It's not that big of a deal, but I personally didn't gain anything from Skillshare that I couldn't get anywhere else for free.
idea how to create videos. I needed to learn how to use Premiere Pro and After Effects, but didn't know where to start. So
YouTube it, Google it.
I spent months learning how to edit through online courses using Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. Skillshare is one of the best ways to invest in yourself and your personal growth. For me personally, I learned so much about editing from Daniel Scott's Premiere Pro and After Effects courses, which taught me all the fundamentals of the Adobe Suite. By learning all of this stuff from Skillshare, I've been able to build a business around what I love. So if you're also interested in making a career pivot or up-leveling your skills in your current role, which is why Skillshare is a great resource for freelancers and entrepreneurs to learn new skills to support your growing side hustle like I did with YouTube, or to launch a totally new career. There's just so many classes to choose from, like Finding Fulfillment Using Pivots to Power Your Creative Career by Emma Gannon, and one of my personal favorite courses being YouTube Success, Script Shoot and Edit with Marcus Brown Lee. And right now, the first 1,000 people who use
I would say, like, what Marcus Brownlee or Marquez Brownlee or Mark S. Brownlee, however Will said, I don't know. His video is probably one of the more interesting ones. However, if you're starting out, let's do this. If Skillshare is what you can afford for learning, Marcus Brownlee's course is really not for you. Like, the equipment and the techniques he's showing you there are way beyond what you should be able to afford. If you can afford the equipment and the stuff that he's showing you there, bro, you can honestly afford a personal fucking... You can afford him directly training you on an hour, like an hour a day for like a week. Okay, you can probably afford that.
In the description below,
that's
we'll
how,
get
like,
1 month free
fucking...
trial with Skillshare. So if you're interested in developing your skills, be sure to sign up to Skillshare today. Blizzard's introduction of Bridget is what many consider to be when Overwatch died. The character was just too overtuned, and her addition created a stale meta for months on end, which many players just found intolerable, causing a lot of them to quit the game for good.
There's just too much there. AoE healing, armor, the armor buff, reducing damage, stun, you get your own barrier
I don't even play Overwatch, and I heard about how busted Bridget is.
I mean...
And later that year, things wouldn't get much better for Blizzard in terms of their other games either. During BlizzCon 2018, the company revealed what they thought would be a slam dunk. Diablo Immortal, and they couldn't have been any more wrong. After waiting over half a decade expecting Diablo 4, fans of the franchise were instead hit with the announcement of a Diablo mobile game. The game's presentation was just an absolute train wreck, being booed numerous times throughout.
Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this just strictly mobile forever?
We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
Boo! Do you guys not have fun? He has to make it. He has to.
Kind of reception,
no way he's skipping you guys not have phones. No way he's skipping you guys not have phones. That is like so iconic.
Attention really says something. One dissatisfied crowd member even managed to access the discussion panel and question the legitimacy of the game.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
Do you guys not have phones?
Now, it's fairly obvious why Blizzard decided to make them.
Dude, I used to feel so bad for Wyatt because he looked like somebody who's like he's not used to be there, and he probably wasn't used to being there. But when he said there's like you can't buy gear like on the interviews and stuff, and again he might be forced to say it and whatever, like he might lose his job, but it's like, bro, have some principles, man. Like straight up. Like if you get fired from Blizzard and the people hate you, any company that's gonna hire you are gonna lose customers. That's how bad of a name you're making for yourself in the industry. Like, have some self-respect, man. Jesus Christ.
Next Diablo, a mobile game. 1, the ease of monetization, and 2, the potential for a much bigger audience. Compared to the industry standard of PC and consoles, developing for mobile gives publishers much more profits. Just look at classic...
Oh yeah, like the expense on a mobile game is like 10 times less. You don't need as many developers. You can make the game ready in less time. And people are spending so much more money on mobile. It's like free games. Like, fuck, man, Candy Crush is making more money than World of Warcraft. Not even like the both games are like, let's say you take away the expense to make the game, put that to the side for a second, just pure profit after the games are ready. How much money each game is making, it's not even close, man.
Japan's Pokemon Go,
It's so
Candy
fucked
Crush,
up.
and any of the other dozens of mobile games, raking in billions through
So sad,
microtransactions.
but it is what it
Blizzard
is.
attempted to cash in on this market, and it's not really that surprising either, as mobile gaming is the most
everyone
lucrative
should.
out of all the other platforms. I mean, almost half of all video game revenue comes from the mobile sector, and that's partly due to the sheer number of people who use their phone to play games.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that until this point, Diablo had
Bro,
been
people actually buy those like thumb gloves. Is that a thing? Like, bro. It's like, I heard about sweats, but like, that's a bit extra.
usually sold on PC and console, so Blizzard was essentially blindsiding their consumers with the sudden platform switch, and by developing the game for mobile instead of the relatively small established audience, the core Diablo fanbase was left out to dry, and Blizzard further demonstrated their bottom line is money over customer satisfaction, one of the biggest sins any
Dude, and I heard that they did have a Diablo 4 mobile gaming gear, lol. Yeah, I know. It's so cringe. It's crazy. And I heard like during that BlizzCon they actually did have Diablo 4, but because it was so not ready for release, they didn't wanna put the trailer out. And I was like, bro, put the fucking trailer. Whoever made that decision, fire that person. It's so dumb.
business can do.
What's up,
Next
Jackie,
year in
man?
2019,
Good to have
and
you.
Blizzard were going to tarnish their reputation again. This would happen when they hosted a Hearthstone
I had some funky vegetables, so the stream will end literally. The name of the stream is a very literal sense of the fucking stream.
tournament. During an event interview, one of the pro players named Blitzchung made political statements.
Dude, this is what I talked about. This Blitzchung thing should never, like, I actually agree with Blizzard for banning him for this. I think any sports organization, if your player is making a political stance, get him out of the fucking competition. Do not bring politics into game. The only reason that, say, no politics in my gay sports, yeah, exactly, 100%. The only reason I think that Blitzchung's case where like he shouldn't be banned for it does make sense, only because Blizzard was already playing politics, but they're just playing the other side. Right? Blizzard should not be in politics to begin with, which would then make it so that the players cannot use their platform to talk about politics. Take your fucking politics, get them out of the gaming industry. One reason people support Blitzchung is because it's China. If it was anything else, it wouldn't be widely supported, in my opinion. I agree. It's like people saying that's like if you go into like, you know, all these posts of like against like white men, for example, and then it's like, well, if you flip it, it's gonna be racist. If you say instead of white men, you use black men, like in that sentence, it's gonna sound racist. But if it's white men, it's not racist. That's bullshit. Okay, like no double standards. Blizzard should not be in politics, in the business of politics. Neither should Blitzchung. If Blizzard is in the business of politics, they should not blame someone for using the platform for politics. Right? It's fair game at that point. But in my opinion, Blizzard should not have anything to do with politics. Take politics, identity politics, take every politics out of your fucking game. You want the only political thing that Blizzard should do or can do with its games is throw political agendas as a story mechanism, like Final Fantasy is doing it. Final Fantasy is playing with politics hardcore, with racism, with sexism. Well, actually, not so much sexism, but like racism, 100%, right? A lot of political ideology in Final Fantasy, and I think that's great. That is completely fine. You're playing with philosophy during the MSQ, and like you're showing the way. I think that's fucking great. But outside of the game, none of that shit. I don't care what the main, like, let's say, I don't care what Yoshi P votes. I don't care if he votes Democratic or fucking Republican. I don't give a shit what he would vote. All I want him is to make a good game. In the game, if his character is Republican, cool. I don't give a fuck.
supported the ongoing Hong Kong protests. Now, obviously, China wasn't exactly happy about the stunt, and because of Blizzard's ties to the CCP and their dependence on the massive Chinese market, it wouldn't be long before they got their reprisal, as Blizzard has no problem being subservient to the interests of the Chinese government if it gives them more profits. And so after Blitzchung made the statement, he was immediately banned from all Blizzard-related events and was forced to forfeit all the prize money he earned. The casters that were interviewing Blitzchung also got...
I don't know, but the prize money is I don't know if that was a fair punishment. I mean, he did earn it, but it's like I would say keep the prize money, but you're banned from future events. Something like that. That's what I would do.
Got terminated just for being associated with him. Blizzard's CEO would then go on to justify these actions by stating that the platform was, quote, not for political views. But as you would probably expect, Blizzard has no problem groundstanding over socially accepted Western political...
Exactly. This is what I hate. Blizzard Entertainment, you're a gaming company, get the fuck out of politics. If you're doing this, you can't blame Blitzchung. I don't like what Blitzchung did, but that is like, in a vacuum, I don't like what he did. But because you're playing politics, he can play politics on your platform too, because you're already doing it.
Narratives. These seemingly meaningless controversies were likely part of the reason that Blizzard decided to lay off around 8% of their workforce.
It's fair game basically once you're like involved.
800 people losing their jobs. Then in July of that year, one of the founders who worked at Blizzard for nearly 30 years stepped down. But there was one ray of hope.
I mean, bro, like he worked there for long enough. Honestly, how many people do we know that like held a job for 20 plus years, you know? It's like people change jobs a lot. It's rare for somebody to work at the same place for 30 plus years. Like, let's be real.
That for Blizzard. With the Blizzard company collapsing in on itself, there was only one chance left for redemption. In 2020, the company announced that they would be remaking one of their most influential games of all time, Warcraft 3. This was Blizzard's chance to turn everything around. If they
no. Even if the game was the best fucking version of Warcraft 3 that was ever made, even if they did everything the players wanted, it doesn't matter. The people who are playing Warcraft 3 are such a small amount of players that are playing Blizzard games. It is what it is. It's not like the main attraction. You would have maybe some people from WoW play Warcraft 3 again, but they don't... most of them probably didn't even complain about it. It's like, it's shitty, but whatever, right? It's like, it's not... It could have been the best game. It wouldn't matter. There's too much problems outside of it.
Would have been pardoned by most. However, this wasn't the case. Once Warcraft 3 was released, it was again...
Oh, and before someone says, like, well... Because at the beginning of the video, I said, it's like, if the game was great, then people wouldn't mind about controversies. Yes, I mean like the main game, which is World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft people would not care about Nostalrius if World of Warcraft was good at the time. They would not care that Blizzard shut down Nostalrius. It's not like any Blizzard game can distract WoW players from WoW controversies.
Mess that detracted from the original version just by existing. Several of the game's promised features ended up being cut, like a campaign overhaul and new cutscenes. A lot of the mechanics from the 2002 version were also removed.
They also claimed that the remaster, or like the reforged Warcraft 3, is actually gonna have the story would identify with the Shadowlands story, which it didn't. They didn't change anything. They went super lazy on it. So they didn't change any of the quests, didn't change any of the cinematics to fit the current narrative, nothing.
Such as the player ranking system, tournament mode, and match draw prevention. In fact, Blizzard's Warcraft 3 remake received so much widespread denouncement from fans that it became rated as one of the lowest user-reviewed games on Meta.
Right before Diablo Immortal took the spot.
Critic.
The day comes out and none of that is in the game.
I love it.
They actually showed enhanced cuts.
Bro, I don't like Angry Joe as a I don't like his political views and stuff like that, but man, his reviews are so good. I love that Angry Joe is still angry. After all these years, Angry Joe is still angry, and I love it. I don't think me and him would get along as people, like in a series, like in discussions about stuff outside of gaming. On gaming, I think me and him agree on a lot of shit, but man, we would not agree on anything outside of game.
And the cutscenes are literally garbage.
Fans didn't just hate the game, they felt lied to. Critics panned the release as yet just another greedy move from a company trying to squeeze as much cash as possible. And things would only continue to get worse for Blizzard. In July of 2021, it was revealed that the company had been under investigation for systemic sexual harassment, bullying, and
Dude, I swear, this is a different version of the Ackman video. It's literally like it's all the same points, like nothing new. Why is I really hope at the end of this video there's something new. And again, coming from a React YouTuber, right? It's like, bro, you just react to videos, just be happy that there's content. I get it. And again, he put a lot of effort into it, don't get me wrong, but it's like it's a 17-minute video that is like super edited, which is really cool. And he took the key points, but a year ago someone made the exact same video. You can remake it into and whatever, but it's like the information in it is not new. So I hope at the end of this, towards the last 2 minutes, there's actually some new information, because otherwise I feel like I'm just like, as a react, I feel like I just wasted my time. And I'm already reacting for 40 minutes. So it means I wasted 40 minutes of my time, 40 minutes reacting to this, because Ackman did this video a year ago.
Pay. For 2 years, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing had been interviewing employees and building a case.
And again, it's fair, right? Not everyone who watched Ackman watch this. Not everyone who's watching this guy's videos watches Ackman. I get it. But fuck, it's really annoying for me who watch both.
Against Blizzard. As you would probably expect, this caused
I'm just thinking about myself right now, okay? I just want a moment for myself, okay? I'm just thinking about myself right now, and I'm not gonna be very happy, okay? That's all I'm saying.
There was immediate backlash. Blizzard was alleged to have a toxic work culture, with male employees getting drunk and harassing their female co-workers. This accusation was then backed up by a management system in the company that not only tolerated this behavior, but even encouraged it. Blizzard would of course deny the claims, which led to over 2,600 of Blizzard's 9,500 employees signing an open letter demanding change. This was a PR nightmare. While Blizzard did slightly relent in the statement from the CEO, it wasn't nearly enough to heal years of mistreatment.
But here's the thing. And I think Asmongold made a similar point. If the game was good at the time, no one would care about this. It's like these people who are like, rightfully so, they were protesting and they're not willing to work and stuff like that. I get it. But at the same time, if I go to Walmart and I want to buy one of their shitty steaks, and there are no steaks, and you ask the people who work there, it's like, hey, why is there no steak? Well, because the guys who are preparing the steak and putting it on the shelf, they are taking a protest. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. I want my fucking steak. That's the same mentality I would have for World of Warcraft. I don't give a shit that people are taking a fucking break, they're protesting, shit like that. That's not my problem, that's Blizzard's problem. Blizzard still, while this happens, need to provide me what the service I am paying for. And the worst part is they actually emailed people. I shit you not, this is the real world. They emailed people that for 2 months they're halting any production on World of Warcraft due to the employees' walkout and the employee protests. I shit you not. They actually dared to send this email out, or maybe it was a tweet, I don't remember. And they didn't even say the next 2 months are free for all players. The audacity, bro. That's how much they know that the people who play their game are fucking sheep, saps, losers, whatever word you want to take. That's how bad it is. They know.
Employees went on strike, walking out to the Blizzard offices. It was clear that Blizzard wasn't only ignoring fans, but it was ignoring their workers. And this self-induced disaster was made much worse by the immediate attention it garnered. For many fans, this was the last straw, and the company's reputation has been ruined irreversibly. A Blizzard employee's personal story.
Bro, that was not the last straw. The last straw was just Shadowlands sucking ass and people leaving because Matt from Bel Air made a Final Fantasy video. Asmongold started playing Final Fantasy. That was like the last straw. Was they needed someone to hold their hand and tell them it's okay, there's a different way. That was the last straw. But again, nothing new. So far, there's been nothing new in this video.
Blew up on Reddit, gaining over 25,000 upvotes.
When an employee was sexually assaulted at a holiday party, we had to fight tooth and nail with HR to get them to take any action.
Oh, right. Wow, I haven't watched his videos in forever. Holy shit.
Through which they victimized her and blamed her. Now we've got an employee who's taken her own life, seemingly because of the treatment that she experienced at the hands of her leadership and her coworkers.
This sentiment was also true for many of Blizzard's...
So, okay. Now, I'm not saying, obviously, like, what they did was bad. Don't get me wrong. The employee or manager, whatever, is still an employee of the company, who did that to the woman is a fucking scumbag and is a piece of shit. At the same time, though, let's be real, she had definitely other issues. That was just the last straw, but she definitely had... I'm not trying to blame the victim, okay? Don't get me wrong. But you don't take your life just over this. She definitely had other issues. The guy who did it is still a fucking scumbag, okay? But he doesn't hold like 100% of the fault. I would say maybe 85% of the fault. But like, she had issues, man. Especially in today's day and age where like we idolize fucking porn stars. That is, I won't say it's a non-issue, but it's like, that is not a reason to really kill yourself. That is something that would, you know, everyone knew that guy is a scumbag. Again, that guy should definitely be like charged for something, but like, he's not, I wouldn't say he's solely responsible for her killing herself. He was just the finishing, you know, the crème brûlée, the
shareholders and
again, I don't know why I'm even like saying this, because it's like, it's just, I'm asking for like people to just fight me over this. Yeah, he's a scumbag, like, what do you want to say? I just don't think he's the actual real fucking reason. He's just the final product.
Who in turn filed a lawsuit against the company. They alleged that Blizzard had broken the trust between themselves and their shareholders, and many of the investors who caused this in the first place pulled their much-needed resources from the company. Another report in November further sealed Blizzard's fate. It showed that upper management had known about the problems for years, but chose to ignore them completely, which again caused another walkout and further damaged Blizzard's already tarnished reputation. And then the cherry on top was the investigation results, which couldn't have come at any worse time for the company. With Blizzard...
What does pure bullfit even have to do with Blizzard, though? Like, don't get me wrong, I like the guy overall, like, I loved his fitness videos and stuff, but what does he have to do with Blizzard? Or was he just, like, reacting to the, like, political trauma around it?
Its continuous failures, corruption, and greed. This
I really hope he's gonna use the you think you do but you don't. Please use the you think you do but you don't part.
The final nail in their coffin. The company's decline is clearly shown in financial numbers. Their stock price would fall from $100.
Is he not gonna use it? Because I agree. I totally agree with J. Allen Brack about you think you do but you don't. I totally agree with him. But let's see if he goes there.
$57 following the harassment allegations. This was also unsurprisingly around the time that Blizzard started to make some leadership changes. They even attempted hiring some outside names, but some of their choices seemed a little odd. For example, they hired Frances Townsend to oversee the company's compliance with government convention.
I don't see a problem with hiring her, to be honest. If you think... So it's like, people didn't like her because she said something like, sometimes torture is necessary, or it's okay. Dude, I fucking agree. Yeah, sometimes, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the world we live in. Sometimes torture is necessary. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Are you telling me, let's say somebody kidnapped your wife, okay? And you have the person in front of you, and you're asking him to tell you where your wife is. And he's like, nope, you're telling me you're not gonna torture the motherfucker until he tells you? Give me a fucking break, bro. People are such hypocrites. Torture is necessary at some points. Like, fuck off. Especially when it comes to your security. Man, it's like... What world do you live in?
Townsend, a Bush administration security advisor, has been widely criticized for her waterboarding advocacy. For a company...
She's okay with waterboarding. What's the problem? First of all, compared to like tortures, that one is more psychological torture than it is physical. Like, it's using physical elements, but it's causing a psychological torture. Compared to like cutting people, like taking out their fingernails, cutting off their hands and shit like that, that is nothing. Waterboarding is like overall safe. Like,
trying to improve their image, this was quite a strange choice. And while new faces come onto the scene, old ones would leave. Jeff Kaplan, the heavily involved lead designer of Overwatch.
Like, the question is like, should she be in a gaming company? Like, I don't know her fucking other credentials. Just because she worked in the Bush administration and her view on waterboarding is that it might be necessary sometimes, I don't think that's like an immediate disqualification. I have no idea what the other devs believe about other shit in the world. Do you think the war in Iraq is justified? Oh, so you agree with murdering innocents? Like, yeah, go out with that question, like, to anyone. It's like everyone is gonna be a fucking not qualified for any public office or not qualified for any job ever. Like, so dumb.
Chose to leave after 19 years at Blizzard. It was a bad sign that one of the most influential figures in the company was choosing to leave so abruptly.
How long was he there? Dude, 19 years, man. I'm sorry, but it's like... Yeah, maybe he wants to, like, he's not the head of Blizzard. Maybe he wants to start his own thing, which, by the way, I think he did. Like, he's the head of his own company now. He has the experience. I don't, like... It's not a bad thing. It's like... It is because it's Blizzard, but, like, overall... People leaving a company to start their own shit is not a bad thing. They leave someone else that they believe is in charge, usually, you know?
It was a bad sign that one of the most influential figures in the company was choosing to leave so abruptly. With Blizzard's stock plummeting and the company in collapse, they finally made the decision to sell the company to Microsoft. The deal hasn't been
Maybe it was something he was dealing with for a long time. Maybe he was, like, debating with his wife for a long time. It's like... Honey, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I can really do this. I can really make my own company. And one day she woke up, you know what, babe? Just fucking do it. Let's make your dream come true. Let's make your own fucking company. And he's like, you know what? Okay. And he just goes to the offices. It just happens to be at a bad time. It's like, listen, guys, I know we're going through a rough time and you need me, but I've been mulling over this for the last year and I want to make my own company. So peace out. It's like...
Yet.
You know,
who knows
you don't
what
know.
happens next?
Who's next? You had people who worked there for 20 plus years. Who's next gonna leave? Probably anyone who worked over 20 years at this point. It's like, it's anyone's fucking guess.
Theodore John Kaczynski,
Okay, what's
better
this?
known as the Unabomber, is one of the most interesting people of the 21st century. Both
Why?
a genius and a madman, Ted engaged in a ruthless campaign of terrorism by mailing bombs throughout the late 70s to mid-90s, while isolating himself from the rest of society in a small cabin in the woods. For
Why am I
2
looking at
decades, Ted evaded capture, despite being the target of the most expensive FBI investigation in history. But for such an extraordinary life, Ted's early years were relatively ordinary, and at the same time, Ted was creating a revolutionary manifesto. He was using all of his intellect to warn society of the dangerous path that is awaiting us.
Okay. That's so random, bro. That was so random. Like, out of nowhere, it just comes with this ad. Oh, it's a preview for the exclusive membership video? Bro, oh my god, man, who gives? Okay, yeah, so this video was... I mean, it's a good video, sure, don't get me wrong. Fantastic video, great quality. But, like, it's a year late. When was the Actman video? The downfall... Let's see, this is August 15, 2022, okay? 2 years ago, bro, the decline of Blizzard. Literally, 2 years ago, man. When was this? July 5th, 2020. It's the same exact video, man, 2 years later. It sucks, and I get it. It's like, yeah, it like 20 people can make the same video. It doesn't matter, but it's like, I was hoping for something new out of this. So I'm not a bit. I am very disappointed that that is what the video was. I hope for like some new information. And I bet, like, if I watch Asmongold react to it, he'll probably be saying the same thing. There's nothing new about this, or like he'll repeat points he already talked about. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed, but yeah, it is what it is. That's the video. We'll see you in the next one.